Hello, and welcome to Community with me, Melissa Sandfield. I am so excited to have a wonderful, wonderful guest here with me tonight. He is the CEO of the Los Angeles chapter of the American Red Cross. It's so wonderful, and I'm so grateful that he's here. I just can't believe it. This was one of those interviews that's on my interview bucket list, and so I am having that dream fulfilled tonight because the American Red Cross does so much for so many people globally. I mean, internationally, they do so much. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome the man himself, Mr. Jared Barrios.
Hey, Melissa. So nice to be here.
Good, good, good. I am so excited that you're here. I've been wanting you all to come for at least a year, and we just hadn't reached out. But as soon as we reached out, it's been like a week. And,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
here you are, and
And
I'm
here
so
I
happy.
am.
So I was in need, and the Red Cross was there for me tonight.
Absolutely. We're always there for you.
You're always there. Give us a little bit of background. You have a very extensive and a very wonderful background that I would love to speak about, but let's hear
Well, I
it.
have to say, I love living in Los Angeles. I'm newish to Los Angeles, Melissa. I came here, this is my second time living here. I moved here about a year and a half ago to take this position. I was running the Red Cross in Massachusetts
Wow.
before I came here. I have a sort of a career in sort of health care and public safety. I used to be, after I went to law school, I got into politics. Don't hold that against me.
Okay.
I was a state legislator back in my home state of Massachusetts.
Wow.
And I was the chair of the Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee. I did a lot of work on police issues, fire safety, homeland security, terrorism, a lot of stuff on prisons, issues that affect, as I was the first Latino to serve in the state Senate there, so I was up against a lot of issues that you're the only voice.
Right.
Right, everybody comes to you. So when you're the guy running doing the oversight for prisons and police issues, and you know the police issues that we're having today.
Today, yes.
So you can imagine.
Yes.
Very, very important stuff. Very, very heartwarming work to be able to be a voice to
Right.
the community while that's going on. You know, what issues are coming up. So eventually, I did a few things after leaving politics. I eventually was running the Red Cross in Massachusetts, and the phone rang, and they said, we have been looking for about 6 months to find the new director for the Los Angeles Red Cross, and by chance, would you have any interest? And 72 hours later, I was on my way here.
Wow.
It happened very fast.
But I did read that you made some extremely great turnarounds with the volunteer ratio in New York.
In Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts,
Yes, ma'am.
yes,
ma'am.
yes.
So this is the thing about Red Cross, and I want people, all of your viewers, to know this. Red Cross isn't that organization, those people. It's all of us. It's a volunteer-driven organization.
yes.
About 98% of the work done by Red Cross, every time there's a fire, and we folks go out to the fire to help take care of people who've lost their homes. There's a big flood. Right now, today, as we're filming this, there's a big forest fire in Santa Clarita. They've evacuated 1,000 people. We've got 2 shelters. All of those are run by volunteers, so people have a place to go
Right.
because they can't go home. They've been
Right.
evacuated.
Right.
So when you talk about Red Cross, you can't say Red Cross without thinking volunteers. And
Volunteers.
so what we had in Massachusetts was a lot of folks, we had a lot of folks who've been volunteering a long time with the Red Cross, some of them 30, 40 years.
Wow.
And we love those people.
Yes.
But they weren't doing a good job at necessarily welcoming new people
Yes.
into the Red Cross. Because, sometimes when you've been doing it and your friends have been doing it, leave it to us. We'll
Right.
take care of this.
We got it.
We got it, exactly. And so we weren't having a lot of, so we looked at the volunteers. The average age of the volunteer was like 60 years old. And we loved the 60-year-old volunteers, but
Oh,
we had
yes.
nobody who was 20 or
Right,
25 or 30
right.
coming in. And so one of the things we really tried to do was start doing things which attracted and engaged younger people.
Yes.
So every time we had a fire, we made it so that you had to include on the group of people that went out
Right.
to respond to the fire,
Yes.
you always had to have a new volunteer
Okay.
on that team.
Okay.
So they could get part of the team.
Right.
So we were able to almost double the number of volunteers.
Yeah, I read it
In
was like
about-
400.
Yeah, we got a lot of people.
Wow.
And it's important because, Red Cross volunteering, you got to want to help people.
Yes.
Because sometimes when the phone rings, it's 2 in the morning.
Yes.
because they don't wait to have fires, for 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
It's never a good time.
Never a good time.
Sometimes it's cold outside, or sometimes it's raining, or sometimes you just don't want to leave your family. Folks sign up their shifts, but it's very gratifying.
Very rewarding.
People who are in their greatest hour of need. They've just lost everything. They're emotional basket cases, and they need a hug. They need someone to give them a blanket, some clothes. We will do that. We put people up in hotels. So I want your viewers to hear this, because you may know somebody who's been affected by fire.
Yes.
And the Red Cross is there, but only if they call us. The fire departments don't always call us.
Right.
So sometimes people call us and say, I just got burned out of my house. And that's okay. We will come. We provide financial assistance,
Oh, good.
a modest amount of financial assistance, so
Right.
people can buy some clothes because they just lost everything.
Right.
We help people replace their medicines,
Yes.
eyeglass prescriptions,
Oh, good.
things that are very important
Oh,
that you wouldn't
yes.
think about
Right.
being there. And so that's sort of the mission of the Red Cross, to help people in their hour of need. And house fires, and I know that we talk a lot about earthquakes.
Yes.
This movie that just came out, San Andreas,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Great movie. Not always accurate, right, in terms of exactly what happens.
Right.
But the point was a good one, right? But when most people think of disaster in Los Angeles, they think of earthquakes.
Yes.
The reality is, if you look year after year, you add up what are the number of people that were affected by earthquakes versus tornadoes versus forest fires. The biggest issue that affects people are home fires. The average year, about 600 to 700 people lose their homes in fires in Los Angeles County. Those are people who have no place to go. I'm sorry, I said 600 to 700 people. I meant 600 to 700 families, which adds up to about 1,500 people.
Right.
People with no place to go, and they lose everything. And most people, a lot of times they're renters. They don't have renters insurance, right? Which only costs like $80 a year, but you lose everything. You've lost it all.
You've lost it all.
There's nothing to replace it. So that's where the Red Cross comes in. We work with people that are caseworkers to help people, kind of figure out what they're going to do next.
Yes.
We'll put them up in a hotel for a couple of days while they kind of get their bearings.
Right.
Help them buy some new clothes and replace their prescriptions, glasses. All that's done by volunteers.
Wow.
But we're also there, of course, when we're ready. Thank God there hasn't been a big event. But should there be an earthquake, we will be there with big shelters like the Northridge earthquake in 1994.
Yes.
We had thousands of people staying in our shelters afterwards. It was just, it was a big event for us here in Los Angeles. So, there's a lot of different things we do, and I feel very good about that work. But the stuff that I like the most, and I hope it's okay, Melissa, for me to talk about this, and I want people to understand, it is very rewarding to go to somebody's house when they've had a fire and help them get back on their feet. And it's very rewarding should there be an earthquake or a mass casualty or an event where the Red Cross can shelter people, and large numbers of people. I was after Superstorm Sandy in New York City. I was there for a couple of weeks helping. There's nothing more rewarding. But the most rewarding thing we do is the work that helps people prepare in advance.
Yes.
And so, I'm going to say it. I'm going to go there. Do you have an earthquake kit? Do your viewers have their earthquake kits? Because you need to be. Well, let me just say this. When the big one hits and all 10 million people in Los Angeles call 911, how long is it going to take for the fire or the police to come to your house? They're not going to be there.
Not going to come.
And you've got to imagine a world where those first 3 or 4 days, you can support yourself. The most important thing, if you do one thing,
let me write this
if you do one thing today, this week, the next time you're at Food for Less or wherever you go grocery shopping, you buy those cases of water, the bottles, just the plastic bottle, buy 3 of those. They're $5 each for the case.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You need to be able to go without, because the water's not going to work. So what are you going to live on? You need to support yourself for 3 or 4 days. 3 of those bottles a day per person.
Right.
So you count it. How many people live in your house? You need those things. What else goes in your earthquake kit? Well, I hope that you will have some batteries and a flashlight.
Oh, okay.
Particularly if there's a thing at night. Now, I know that the biggest earthquake injury after the Northridge earthquake wasn't, things falling on people. It was broken glass. People got up in the middle of the night and they ran outside and all the broken windows. So what we tell people is keep a pair of shoes next to your bed.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's an earthquake, you put on your shoes before you try to leave the house.
Right.
Very serious injuries happen to that. Keep a flashlight in your bed, by your bed there,
Okay.
right? You want to keep water, a radio, crank radio if you can get it, or radio that has batteries.
Okay.
You make sure those batteries are fresh. We can give you a longer list, but what I would really recommend to the folks listening, go to our website, redcross.org/Los Angeles, and it has all the lists you need. We have a separate website called preparesocal.org.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to know about how to be prepared for an earthquake, preparesocal.org.
Okay.
And you can get ready. Now, those are just a couple of examples, but I think I like the preparedness stuff because that's where we're really making a difference. I would much rather give somebody, they say, the Bible's saying, right, teach somebody to fish rather than give them fish.
Right.
I'd much rather tell somebody how they can take care of themselves and their family
Yes.
than come in after because they haven't been able to, right? So that's a very important thing, and I think Melissa, in the context of what I was saying earlier, house fires. And if we have that map, if we can pull that map that I gave you, I'd love it if we can just show, because, so this is a map of these little hexagons. This is Los Angeles County,
Okay.
and the bigger the hexagon, there's zip codes, okay?
Okay.
Every hexagon represents a zip code. The bigger the hexagon, the more fires happened in that zip code last year.
Wow.
Now, where are the biggest hexagons?
In Los Angeles.
They're in Los Angeles. And where in Los Angeles? Well, I'll tell you where. They're down in kind of near Florence, and you got South Los Angeles, Pico Union. You got some Vernon, and you've got Baldwin Hills. You've got Inglewood,
Wow.
Compton. So these are communities. Let's be real clear, right? These are communities that are where black and brown people live. Poor
Yes.
communities.
Right.
Not to say the people who live there are all
Right.
poor, but that as a whole, the communities are are inflicted by these events more.
Right.
And now that's for a lot of reasons. You've got, in a lot of cases, there are folks who rent, and their landlords don't take care of the property,
Right.
and they become fire hazards. In other cases, their houses, it's very dense. These are seedy neighborhoods. The houses are all next to each other, so
Yeah.
one catches fire, and all of them catch fire.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a lot of reasons for it. But if we know, and I would tell you that map that I showed, that's pretty much what it looks like every year. It's not a miracle year this year
Wow.
that it's all concentrated in those neighborhoods. So if we know that there's going to be more fires in Pico Union, in Westlake,
Right.
in Koreatown, in South LA, then shouldn't we, to this prevention and preparedness point, shouldn't we focus our efforts
Yes.
more in those communities, as opposed to just saying to everybody across the county, hey, we're here to help if you'd like us.
Right. If you need us, call us.
So what we're starting to do, we're launching a program called Prepare LA, and we're working in specific identified neighborhoods to really concentrate the resources, the training, the classes that we offer. So I'm going to give you two examples.
Okay.
I talked about fires.
Yes.
Well, it is the law
It is a lot.
in California that you're supposed to have a working smoke detector in your house. But I guarantee you that there are people out there watching that their smoke detector doesn't work and their landlord hasn't fixed it.
Right.
Now, it's nice that there's a law, but if you don't have a working smoke detector, you're 5 times more likely to die if your house catches on fire. 5 times more likely. That's an important statistic. Because if you believe, as we do, we want to save people's lives
Right.
at the Red Cross.
Yes.
So we've started, as part of our Prepare LA program, we are going door to door, knocking on people's doors in these communities. So if we come to your door, please answer. Red Cross vest. A lot of times we go with the firefighters.
Yes.
And we are offering people free smoke detector installations, 10-year batteries,
Wow.
so it'll be good for 10 years. And we will install it on the spot. Now, I will tell you, if you're interested in one of these smoke detectors, and we haven't knocked on your door yet, all you got to do is go to the website and send us an email. Tell us, or just call us. The website, we have the phone number, how to call. Just call any of us. We will make sure you get on the list. We will come by your house and we will install a smoke detector in Los Angeles County. And that's important for us because we know that we can give you the time you need to get out of your house should it catch fire. God forbid.
Yes. Yes.
We want to help you save your lives.
Oh,
Your
wow.
kids' lives. But while we're there, that's not all we do. So we've got one guy will come in and we'll put the smoke detector in, but then we're going to go through What's your escape plan? Because it's very important
Okay.
for you, and it's actually, and I want to say this because I suspect a lot of your viewers have children. The most important thing is for you to talk to your children about this, because the most likely to die in these fires are elderly and children. Elderly because they can't move,
Right.
and children because they don't know what to do.
Right. They don't know what to
But
do.
if you give children information, they can then go to the ground, because they'll get overwhelmed by smoke. They'll inhale the smoke,
Right.
and they'll lose consciousness.
Yes.
And so getting close to the ground where they can crawl out of a window or the door,
Right.
learning to feel the door to see if it's hot, that means there's fire on the inside of that door.
Right.
You don't want to go through there.
Wow.
So these are the important things that we want to go over with families as we're installing that smoke detector. So
that's
very
wonderful.
important, but free. I didn't say that. Free.
Free.
We will call, we will install, and we do that free of charge, because all Red Cross service is always free.
Wow.
The services we provide for disaster relief.
So our website is Red Cross
Redcross.org
Redcross.org
/ Los Angeles.
/ Los Angeles.
Or you can just do Los Angeles Red Cross, it'll take you there.
And the Los Angeles chapters include the North Valleys, Greater LA, Santa Monica, Long Beach, and Rio Hondo.
Yes, it's the whole county.
The whole
and so if
county.
you live anywhere in Los Angeles County, we're here, we want to install, and you don't have a working smoke detector, we will come. We will talk to you about earthquake preparedness, whatever you need. If you are affiliated with a church group or a social group, and you would like us to come offer a preparedness class on earthquake preparedness, we go, and I tell you, the groups that call us the most are the elderly groups. A lot of
Right.
folks, they're shut-ins, right? They don't get out much. The senior centers we will go speak at, the senior citizen centers.
Oh, cool.
But we will go to a lot of church groups too. Crenshaw Christian in South LA had us there. And do you know that we spoke with them, and they decided to adopt the Red Cross as a volunteer activity.
Wow.
They now have 30 of their members as Red Cross volunteers going out responding to these fires.
Really? Wow.
And I have to think, Melissa, if you're somebody who lives in South LA, wouldn't it be nice, much nicer than having somebody from somewhere else in the county, somebody from around the street, from around the corner,
Right.
somebody that cares about you, that you might know from another
You might
setting,
even know.
responding to you in your hour of need. It's a nice way. And so
Wow.
we're inviting folks, if you want to become a Red Cross volunteer, go to that website. Just go to the volunteer page on the website. It's clearly marked. Tells you how you can sign up. We'd really love to have you. We need everybody
We need
volunteering at the
everybody.
Red Cross.
I don't even know why I showed up. Jared is interviewing himself. We're going to take a break. He's awesome. We'll be right back.
Are you a diabetic? Need some energy? Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink is the healthiest, best-tasting energy drink around. For more information and online ordering with free shipping, please visit hiphopbev.com. Remember, Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, suitable for diabetics, great for everyone.
And we are back with the CEO of the entire Los Angeles County American Red Cross. The CEO is here, and we want to speak a little bit, and it's Jared Barrios. We want to speak a little bit about the history
Yes, ma'am.
of the Red Cross. I read someplace that it was started in 1881.
Yeah, so it's a very beautiful and moving history. I just want to say first off, though, that we here in Los Angeles are celebrating next year our 100th anniversary
Wow.
of the LA Red Cross. So we're getting ready for a big party next year. We're going to invite you, Melissa.
Oh, good. I'm
Get the
going
whole
to be
team
ready.
down here.
Yes.
Get the whole team down there. But so the Red Cross in the United States was founded in 1881 by a woman named Clara Barton. Now, Miss Barton was from the North, and she was a Civil War battlefield nurse. So she worked, but she didn't just help Union soldiers. She helped anybody. And that was her belief.
Right.
Anybody who was injured deserved to be cared for.
Right.
The injured on the battlefield because in those times they didn't have a Red Cross.
Right.
So there was nobody to come in that was neutral. If you were a Union nurse, they'd try to shoot you.
Right.
If you were a Confederate nurse, the Union soldier, there was nobody who'd go in and rescue folks on the battlefield.
Right.
So many of the people who died, the soldiers that died because not because they were killed in battle, but because they were injured and then nobody could attend to their
Wow.
to their needs, and so they would get infected and they would die because nobody could come and pick them up and take them to a hospital.
Right.
So Clara Barton decided she wanted to do something. Over the course of the 1860s and 1870s, she was a fairly educated woman, and she'd been reading about, in Europe, the founding of an organization called the International Red Cross, founded in Switzerland.
Uh-huh.
A gentleman named Henri Dunant founded it in the early 1860s. And he founded it for a similar reason. There was a big war between the Austrians and the French. And the country between them was Italy. The Battle of Solferino, it was called. And about 10,000 men died
Wow.
in this battle. But only about 1,000 in the battle, and about 9,000 were injured, and nobody could come and take the injured off the battlefield because the other side was going to shoot them. So Mr. Dunant said, we need a neutral organization.
Right.
We're not on your side, and we're not on your side. And they want to hold up that white flag with the Red Cross,
Right.
and both sides are going to agree that they can go in there and provide medical care to both sides.
Right.
Soldiers. Very beautiful idea that we're going to put the politics of this aside
Yeah.
to take care of people. And that was the core idea of the Red Cross. And then over the next several decades, Mr. Dunant started something that's called the Geneva Conventions, which grew. At first it was, all the countries in Europe, and then eventually all across the world,
Yes.
we're going to establish rules of warfare. And one of those rules is that for injured people, we're not going to bomb hospitals.
Right.
We're not going to do those things. We're also not going to bomb citizens that aren't part of this war. You can make war on each other, but for what they call non-combatants,
Right.
you can't make war on them. They're just innocent bystanders, right?
Right.
Eventually, they began to make rules around prisoners of war. Now, this becomes controversial. Even in the United States, we don't like the enemy, right?
Right.
They want to talk about torture and all these things of the
Yeah,
enemy.
yeah.
But this is serious stuff. The Red Cross does not believe in torture. I mean, our belief is, just put your hand on. Suppose it was your child,
Right.
right? If we have international rules to follow, and everybody agrees not to torture, that helps all of us.
It does.
Right? It makes all of us better as people, not to mention what the good Lord wants for us to do as well. But so you've got this idea, this gentleman, Henry Dunant, in the 1860s and 1870s. Clara Barton is hearing about all this in the United States. She decides it's time that we had a similar organization in the United States.
Yes.
But remember, Europe is over here, and America's over here.
Before emails, before cell phones.
Absolutely. So she starts to found it, and she travels to Europe and she learns about it. But things are a little different over here because while Europe, every year somebody's going to war in Europe.
Right.
The United States in those days, we weren't really going to war. We were kind of isolated across the Atlantic Ocean, all by ourselves.
Yeah.
But one thing we did have in the United States that they don't have in Europe so much are lots of natural disasters. They don't have hurricanes in Europe. We
Right.
have lots of hurricanes here.
Yes.
They don't have the kind of tornadoes that we have here in Europe. They don't have earthquakes like we have them here. We have big disasters in the
Yes.
United States.
Yes.
So Clara Barton, as she's starting to found the Red Cross, she's saying, well, we want to have a slightly different mission. Yeah, we want to be there on the battlefield.
Right.
And we were, like Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II. The Red Cross was there.
Right.
But in between, we also want to be there for victims of disaster right here in the United States.
Right.
And so she developed this system, and it was always, from the very beginning, a volunteer-led organization. So different cities, we want to start a Red Cross. We want to start a Red Cross.
wow.
And so different chapters emerged all over the country at the local level. And they decided locally, what are the kind of things we want to respond to? So here in
Right.
Los Angeles, in 1916, the Red Cross was founded. Got to say that Pasadena beat us to the punch.
Really?
Pasadena founded 1915. That's the oldest.
Wow.
And then Long Beach is also, I think, 1917.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been It's been 100 years we've been around
100
doing
years.
this good work.
So are you going to celebrate all year long or just...
Oh, I'm going to celebrate. I've already started celebrating.
Really?
Why not? Yeah.
Okay.
18 months.
18 months. Why
You got
not?
an anniversary? So we've got a lot of stuff planned for
Wow.
our volunteers. We want to recruit more volunteers
Yes.
and invite them into the fold so we can help more people.
Yes.
We have a big celebration we're hoping to do. We've got at our national office in Washington, there is right in front, as you walk up the big stairs, it's a beautiful, beautiful building on the mall. It's right on the mall next to the Vietnam Memorial.
Wow.
It's the Red Cross building. So if anybody who goes to D.C., you really should go because you can go and see.
Check it
And
out.
right when you go in, there's a big handmade quilt. And the last time I was there, I went up to it, I read it. And it's from the Los Angeles Red Cross. They got, some students made it, high school students made the quilt, and they got all the celebrities from the 1920s. So like Charlie Chaplin and Mary Pickford and all the silent movie actors to sign this quilt. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that quilt back, and then we're going to do a new quilt and try to get all the modern, today's celebrities to sign it in supporting that Red Cross mission.
Wow.
And we'd like to just, to commemorate 100 years of work, back then and today.
And today.
Yes, ma'am.
That's wonderful.
So we've got some plans. But really the idea to promote the Red Cross is always an opportunity to tell people what we do at the Red Cross.
Yes.
Because if people don't know that we offer these services, they don't know to call us.
They don't, because I didn't even know. And I think that's a great thing. We're going to make sure that our viewers know. I'm going to put it up on Facebook, and of course it'll be on YouTube. Call the Red Cross, send an email so you can get your free smoke detector
Free smoke detector.
and your evacuation plan, which is
And we
very,
can work
very
with you
important.
on a plan. And we can work with you on a plan. Yes, ma'am.
That's wonderful. Okay, we're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be back with Jared Barrios. Right back.
Are you a diabetic? Need some energy? Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink is the healthiest, best-tasting energy drink around. For more information and online ordering with free shipping, please visit hiphopbev.com. Remember, Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, suitable for diabetics, great for everyone.
We are back with the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross, I've written so many notes because it has so much rich history and they're just a phone call away. But one of the things that I wanted to share was that since the Red Cross started, it has been an essential part of all things that go on as far as when you need someone to respond for help. The Red Cross is the one who comes, whether it's a flood, whether it's a fire, even when there's terrorist acts. They come in and help people who are just distraught and you need counseling. The Red Cross has been there for so many people, and we're talking about over 100 years.
Yes, well, no, I was, so as I'd mentioned earlier, I was running the Massachusetts Red Cross before I came here. And I was, that was at the time of the Boston Marathon bombing,
Wow.
the terrorist bombing, which was, as you can imagine, a very difficult time to be in Boston. And we had hundreds of people. Now, in that case, there were about maybe 120 people hospitalized. We worked with the families to reunite, because people were taken to hospital. Oh, no, people couldn't find their family members.
Yes, I remember.
We worked to reunite people. For some of the families, in particular, for families where people had lost limbs or were severely hospitalized, we worked, provided some financial support to the families, but we also did little things. Like there was this one mom who had both of her sons lost their legs. They were twins. One was in one hospital, one was in an adjacent hospital. So she went back and forth, and every time she left, it was a $25 parking bill. So we helped cover the costs of her
Right,
parking. And then
that's
we called
wonderful.
the hospital and said, you guys need to give this lady free parking. And so
Right,
we fixed it at some
right.
point. But that kind of stuff, and that's just the kind of humane stuff that we at the Red Cross do, that try to make regular people's lives a little easier.
A little easier in time of need.
Exactly. If they suffer.
Yeah.
They're suffering in time of need. And so that was hard, but the biggest service that we provided, you mentioned mental health support, was it's called the disaster mental health counseling. We have, it's like post-traumatic stress. You go through something, and next time you hear, a car backfire or a piece of fireworks, because of the bomb.
Because of the bomb.
It's very serious business. So.
And I appreciate the fact that you all were there when we speak about Haiti, when we speak about the tragedy in Oklahoma. I mean, I can just remember time after time after time when you see the Red Cross volunteers. They're right there. They're in the thick of it. They're helping people. They're assisting, and you can just see them as a light. They're shining bright.
It's like a hug sometimes when people need it most. Or more than just that. I mean, we operate shelter. We get people sleep. I mean, it happens in an instant, right? These forest fires today in Santa Clarita Valley, there was a mobile home park up there, and about 300 people there, and another 700 people overnight. They may all lose their homes. Red Cross will be there for them.
Right, and
that's
wonderful.
what we stand ready, always to help.
Always ready. I wanted to actually go over a few statistics for the things that you've done. I believe this was last year, and the numbers are huge. We have a count of 167,153 life-saving blood and platelet donations.
Yeah, so that's Los Angeles County. People are very generous in Los Angeles County, and we thank them for that. One of the things the Red Cross does, one of our missions, is to make sure we have a secure blood supply in the United States. What do I mean by secure? It means that if anybody needs to go to a hospital for an operation, they know that there's going to be enough blood to access so they don't die on the operating table. We at the Red Cross collect about 42% of the nation's blood supply.
Really?
Big part. Now, there's a lot of for-profit companies and stuff, but we're about 42%.
Okay.
And it's not just blood. It's platelets. It's we also track rare blood types and so forth, so that we can help people find what they need in their hour of need.
Oh, yes. Well, that's wonderful. I wanted to say that you responded to 413 local disasters.
So it's about 413 disasters, fires mostly, and I forget how many. Sometimes that's one house, sometimes it's 10 houses. A couple of notable events this last year. We had there's the San Fernando Mission fire, which was a homeless. Which was a transitional shelter for homeless women and their children.
Right.
So you had there 30 families in the course of 5 minutes. And they were they were homeless. They had no place to go, And so we set up a shelter that was open for several weeks, while a new temporary shelter was created by the not-for-profit organization that ran that shelter. The Red Cross stepped in and helped, as we do. We always do.
That's what you do. Okay, so here's another great number. 4,470 volunteers were mobilized last year.
Over the course of the year. Now, some of those are for larger events. Like right now, most of our mobilizations are here in Los Angeles County.
Okay.
Most of those volunteers are responding to fires. They sign up for a shift. Most of the time when you sign up for a shift, nobody calls because there's no fire.
Right.
Once in a while, there's a fire. In fact, as we know, 413 times last year there was a fire.
There was a fire.
But in Los Angeles County, we've got 5 territories, in each territory 3 groups, so it's 15. There's at any given point in time, there's 45 to 60 people signed up to respond on standby.
On call.
Most folks, fortunately, don't get called. Right now, they're all on call on this fire up in Santa Clarita, because we're running a couple of shelters up there.
Oh, wow.
So that's a big number, but it's never big enough. Which is why I want to tell people, if they're interested in becoming a Red Cross volunteer, we need you. Just go to that website, redcross.org. Put in Los Angeles Red Cross. It'll pop up. Go to our volunteer page, and it'll tell you how you can sign up.
Okay, there it is. And two more. That you all trained 125,473 people in CPR, first aid, and what does AED stand for?
Those are you know what a defibrillator
Yeah,
is?
yeah,
The D stands for defibrillator. So it's those two pads that you put that
Yes.
have the electric shock
Yes.
that wakes up a heart sometimes.
Yes.
So sometimes you'll do CPR and it's not enough.
Right.
You take out the automatic defibrillator and give them that shock, and it brings them back to life.
Oh, good.
And so part of taking a Red Cross first aid class is learning how to use one of those defibrillators.
Oh, yes.
So we have a goal in the United States, here in Los Angeles and across the United States, of one person in every family who's first aid and CPR trained.
Okay.
This is a very sad statistic, but something like 70% of people who have heart attacks have it while they're at home, not at work.
Right at work, right.
Of people who have heart attacks at home, you're 5 times as likely to die as you are if you have it at work. Because people at home, you're isolated, and people at home are less likely to know CPR.
Right.
Which is what sustains you while you're waiting for the
ambulance,
EMTs
yeah.
to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
So our goal is really to save more lives. Again, different than the smoke detector campaign,
Right.
but they're the same in that we're trying to save lives.
Yes.
We want to teach, and so we have some classes that we sort of offer, and there's a charge to get certified.
Okay.
But then for community groups and stuff, we will come in and teach those classes for free
Oh, good.
for folks that want to learn it. They just need to call us and tell us they'd like a class.
So we're saying more free, free, free. So basically, if you have a group, your church, your job, also.
Let me just say this about the churches. People
Okay.
listen to their pastors. So we talk to pastors and we encourage them to have them at the church. You know, after Sunday service, everybody just go down to the basement. We're gonna do a big mass CPR training.
Oh, yes.
We will come and do that.
Oh,
We will come and
good.
do that. And I gotta say, it's we're shameless. Any way to get to people, anybody we can. We will go to sporting events.
Yes.
We go to all kinds of things to
You know,
reach people.
I'm guilty because I don't know CPR. I don't know, so I'm gonna have to sign up for my class, and it's something that I've been saying that I've wanted to do. So it's something that I must do, actually. And what is there? There's a fee for if I go individually, right?
Well, if you go to a community class, yes. But if we're able to get one of our so there's the classes which are to get your certification cards and stuff,
Okay.
and there's a fee for that. But if you don't feel like you need the certification card, we have what's called it's a 2.5 hour course as opposed to the standard 4 hour course.
Okay.
So it's slightly faster, and it teaches basic first aid and life-saving CPR.
Okay. Okay.
What they call compression-only CPR. In the old days, you used to breathe into the mouth. Now it's only pumping.
Oh, okay.
So.
Y'all remember the old TV shows when they'd always say, well, "Who's gonna do it?" You know. But okay, that's good to know because I didn't know that it was that way now. So the last statistic or thing that I wanted to bring up here was the life-saving water safety skills. Right?
We teach thousands of kids in Los Angeles County every year how to swim.
Are you serious? See, I really
Yes.
didn't know that.
Yes.
Because I was like,
we
what
do.
could this be?
Yes,
Are
we
you
do.
serious?
And we train lifeguards, right? That's you lifeguard certified, Red Cross certified lifeguards. Go down to Santa Monica
Alright.
Beach or one of the beaches.
Oh, yes.
Those lifeguards, most of those folks, most of them, were trained through Red Cross.
Oh, cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that is
So first
wonderful.
aid, range of things that we offer.
You
yes.
just do everything.
I do a lot. I do want to mention that we have a couple of services that we haven't mentioned yet
Okay.
that I'd like to, if it's okay.
Okay.
I suspect that there are some veterans out there returned from active duty watching your show. And the Red Cross, now if you're a veteran, and you've been deployed internationally, you probably know this already, but if you haven't, you won't. The Red Cross has staff on every military base, domestically and internationally. So if you're in Iraq or you're in Germany or you're in South Korea, there's going to be a Red Cross staff there. Now, why do we have staff there? We have, and we do this through Congress, we have a family reconnection program where, so let's say You've got a gentleman who's deployed to Iraq and his wife is pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
She's about to give birth.
Mm-hmm.
They send a message to him through the Red Cross, and the Red Cross then works to get him back so he can be with his wife
Oh, wow.
when the baby's born.
That's wonderful.
And it's messages program, and we do about annually we do about 350,000 of those in the not the Los Angeles, but all across the country.
That is
We do about
amazing.
350 messages, communications that we've done. So that's a big service. We do a lot of other services. So we have a lot of volunteers who work at the VA hospitals, the Red Cross volunteers. We're
Really?
the only not-for-profit organization that's permitted to go onto VA property. And we do, so they'll do little fundraisers, and we'll give comfort kits to a lot of the elderly men who are veterans, with toothbrushes and toothpaste and
Right.
washcloths and
Right.
deodorants and the kind of things. 'Cause a lot of them are older and don't have a lot of resources, and it
Yes.
just helps them take care of themselves
Yes.
because they're on fixed income.
Yes.
We also do for members of the military who have just returned from service, and a lot of times they're just lost when they come back. Well, how do I get back to normal?
Right.
We have these returning classes that help people. In our mental health folks
Right.
are there to help them think about what they need to do,
Right.
kind of what their next steps should be, and then a lot of times they have problems relating to their families because of the stress.
And there's
of
been
being
a
in the military.
disconnect.
And so some of the stuff we do with them is working with them on that too.
Oh, wow. So
Those are all
much,
volunteers.
So much. Have we covered everything? We had so much to cover, but you're such an easy interview. I mean, this was so easy.
Well, that's nice of you to say. One other one we do have is international services, and I particularly with the earthquake in Nepal that just happened, and you mentioned earlier the
yes.
Haitian earthquake. There's two parts of this at the American Red Cross. One of those parts is we connect people who've been separated either by war or disaster.
Right.
So, for example, there were a lot of people who have family back in Nepal who live here
Right.
on the west coast of the United States. We work to help them reconnect through the Nepalese Red Cross.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
part of being able to put that Red Cross symbol on, and I'll just show you. This is my part of that symbol, right? It means that you're part of an international Red Cross. So we're the American Red Cross, but we're part of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. There's 188 members, 188 countries with their own, and there's a few rules. You can only have one Red Cross society. You got to play neutral, right? You got to help
Right.
everybody in your country.
Right. You gotta
So you
play
know, like in some of
neutral.
these countries,
Right.
like this tribe doesn't like that tribe. No, you help everybody,
You help
regardless of
everybody.
their religion, of their ethnic origin, of their
Right.
gender, whatever.
Right.
Everybody gets help.
Right.
Another requirement is that you work through the International Federation in times of disaster to help families reconnect across the globe. So last summer, there were a lot of immigrant children who were coming up from Central America across Mexico and coming to the U.S. border. They were calling these the unaccompanied minors.
Yes.
Well, those kids were coming, and they had no way to contact their families. So Red Cross was setting up
Sure.
phones for them to talk to their parents, and in some cases help them get back immediately.
Wow.
In some cases, to call their family here who they were hoping to stay with. But we were there to reconnect them.
Right.
Right now in Nepal, we're reconnecting families who've been separated, working through the Nepalese Red Cross, because every country's got a Red Cross, so we work
Right.
through our counterpart to make those contacts.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very, very rewarding.
And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yes, ma'am.
That-
It's a lot of work.
It sounds like a lot. So how is the transition from where you were to where you are now? Is it more challenging or?
You mean from Massachusetts to
Yes,
LA?
yes.
Well, LA has bigger everything here in
Bigger
LA, right? With
everything,
more
yeah.
people in LA, the disasters are bigger in LA.
Yeah.
You've got to raise more money in LA to pay for it all, which is hard. But people have been very generous in terms of more volunteers have come out.
Oh,
We've got
good.
lots of good ideas for growing our programs, and this Prepare LA program, which is really focusing on Los Angeles' most vulnerable communities
Yes.
and helping them build up their resiliency by, giving them more smoke detectors, teaching more preparedness
Right.
classes, and a range of things is, I think, going to really make a difference.
So across the board, we have so many things that are offered free or low cost. You can get your church group together and learn CPR. You can learn to swim. A lot of us brown people, we don't know about water,
higher death rates.
Yes. I'm glad you said it because I didn't know how to say it. But yeah, we don't know how to swim. And if classes are offered, we really need to teach our children. We need to get out there, mommy and me classes, whatever it may be. We need to get out there and get it done because it's so dangerous. And water is a great tranquil place to, I mean, it's a tranquility, right? If you're in water, even if it's a jacuzzi or you're swimming, it's very healthy. It's a great way to exercise. There's water aerobics. But then look at the other side. It can also save your life once you pick up these skills.
Right.
You don't know where you may be, or your child may fall into a pool at someone else's house, or even going to the beach or anything. These are things that could save you anywhere.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. You could work for the Red Cross.
Oh,
Come on, work for it. Come volunteer for us, Melissa.
I will. I love to volunteer. Everyone that knows me knows that. I love to volunteer. It's what I do. I believe that we should give back. And that's one of the reasons that I really had a great desire to have you all here to tell about the work that you've done across the world. Anytime we see any disasters, Katrina, I mean, we could just name them time after time after time. The American Red Cross is there. And it's so important. And you all are such, it's like you're the backbone of a part of our American history, and you're the backbone of it. When we fall or we fail, the American Red Cross is there for us.
Right.
And anyone. And that's what I love about it. It's for anybody. You need them, give them a call. Free CPR classes if you have a group.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll train you. I'm saying we already started volunteering.
Yes, ma'am. I like it.
We'll train you how to survive in water. Water survival skills are very, very important. And what was the other big thing? We need blood donations. We need volunteers. So many great things that are needed that we can give. You can go down and actually, I know this. You don't even have to tell me. I know that you can go to the Red Cross and donate shampoos and body washes and things like that for families when they're displaced. This will make their life so much easier if they don't have to run to the store or try to find a Walmart, and you can have those things there for them, right?
We have comfort kits that we give out.
Comfort kits.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So that's a wonderful thing. So I think we've covered everything.
Yes.
Human suffering is not as bad when the Red Cross is there. If you need a hug, if you need a friend, if you need a familiar face, just human to human, that interaction sometimes is just amazing.
So, but I do want to remind you, it's wonderful that folks can rely on us. But we always tell people the first first responder is you.
First responders.
Which is why we teach preparedness. Okay?
Yes.
Everybody's going to call 911 after that big earthquake.
Yeah.
And guess what? Nobody's going to come. You need to plan those first 3 or 4 days to live on your own. That means you need to have water. It means you need to have food that doesn't require refrigeration.
Or heat.
Because you're not going to have electricity. Exactly. A can opener and some canned food that you can just open up and eat, because you're not going to have electricity in the days that follow a major event. You need batteries. You know, candles burn down your house.
Right.
You need batteries. You need a flashlight. You need a crank radio, if you can. One of the crank radios you can get, they can have USB ports so that you can charge your cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
Because how are you going to charge your cell phone to get information?
Right.
So you need something, and there are a lot of things. RedCross.org or PrepareSoCal.org. Go to those websites, and they'll have more information for you.
So we want to make sure the thing that we walk away with today is to be prepared for earthquake, fire, natural disaster, flood, hurricane, tsunami, whatever it may be. We need to be prepared. That's the main thing that we want everyone to walk away with, is to stay prepared.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So I think we're going to close it out. Do you have any final remarks?
No, ma'am. This has been wonderful. Thank you. And thank you to the listeners who've participated in the show today. And thank you, Melissa, for having me.
Oh, of course. We'll have to have you back as you go through that 100-year celebration. What a great part of our American history to have American Red Cross there for us in time of need. Okay, well, that's it for us here in the community today. I want to thank Jared Barrios for coming in. He is the CEO of the Los Angeles chapters of the American Red Cross. And we're so grateful that he was here and that he gave us a lot of great tips that we can move on. We can move forward with in our lives. And the main thing is to be prepared. And I can be prepared. I can call 911, but I have his number. So I might say, hey, I really need help. But it's up to us to be prepared, to be ready, to stay ready. redcross.org. Check it out. Go to the website and see what it is. What can you do? What can you do in our community? Red Cross has done it for 100 years. Let's give them a little bit of help. We'll see you next week in the community. Have a great, great week. Bye-bye.